Okay, so first off, let me say congratulations to you for almost publishing your sophomore
Thank
poetry
you.
book, Through the Purple Window. Now, let me ask you, how did you come up with the name for that, the title? Through the Purple Window. You know, I love anything with the word purple in it, eh? But how did you come up with the
Yeah.
title?
Um, I would most say since majority of my time I spent writing in my bedroom. Once upon a time, well, shouldn't say once upon a time, but my bedroom is that color lilac, and I like
Mm.
purple. And I was like, you know what? Why won't I? Why shouldn't I? Not or why should I um, dedicate this type of color to my body of work? Um, I didn't have a title for it as yet, so it kind of take a while for it to come. And I didn't want it to be a long title for the book, but somehow I always end up with long titles for books.
No, but I feel like Lilac Honey isn't long, your first book. That's just 2 words.
Yes, for Lila Kani, it was actually I wanted to name it some other thing, but I ended up like since my room was lilac, and I had written a poem about honey. So I'm like, you know what? Since that the honey is like a craft to my words and stuff,
Mhm.
I just end up getting it together to combine, and it sounded great. So
I
yes,
love Lilac Honey. I love Chitty Purple Window. I love anything with purple in it. Like, that's why, I say me and you are like poetry, so both of us have like the purple thing going, you know. We
purple
publish in the
pens for
same
life.
year. We publish in the same year.
Oh my god, yes. I
Our
was
first
thinking
book
that same
and
thing
these
too,
books.
even today. And this year too, we publishing again.
Yeah.
I was like, what is up with that? That's like a real coincidence, huh?
It is, it is. Because I was actually like trying to publish. I wanted to publish my books like within 2 years of each other. But I published
Uh,
like Love Quite 2022 and I was like, gosh, I need to publish it in 2024. I need to publish something else. But it just wasn't really happening. But that's all in good timing. All in good timing.
you know, when you actually posted out the snippet of the poetry book, I was like, I thought it was going to be a story, like a continuation from a like novel, but
Mhm.
it wasn't. So that was like a total surprise, and even to finding out, reading the acknowledgements too was a surprise too.
Well, yeah, because you're in it, but because I said, like, as I said in the acknowledgement, you really did inspire me to write a poetry book, eh? Because I've been writing poetry like a good while. I've been posting on Instagram like poems since like
Yeah, which is
2020.
good.
But I was just always writing more novels. And then when I saw like your poetry book and like something like Kieran Isaac poetry book, I was like,
Yeah,
maybe I should
shout out to
try
Kiran.
it. But honestly, I would say I feel like writing this poetry book was actually easier than writing my novel. I mean, I still love novel writing and I still have some more novels to write, but I don't know, I feel like writing poetry just comes like easier than
For
like a
me, I
novel.
find that's the flip side for me because even though I have lots of ideas for novels, I find I write best in the night for poetry. And I find when I write in for novels, I could write at any time of the day, but at the own night. You know, I could always have an idea and slip it in, whether,
Mhm.
you know, whatever, and place it whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's basically.
I feel like I write better in the night too though, because I feel like in the night you're more emotional. And
Quiet.
that's when the poetry usually come out. When I'm at my most emotional state, I should say.
Yeah. So, I want to ask how you end up coming up with your name for your poetry book.
Well, that's a whole story. Okay, so my poetry book is called A Pretty Thing in the Middle of Nowhere. And it's inspired by I just call her my muse. Now, one day, my friend and I were walking and we saw like this small pink flower like on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And where we were, it had no other flowers. Like the ground was just concrete and like grass growing through the concrete. So like to see this flower just there by itself. My friend was actually the one who was like, "Oh, look at that pretty thing. Just like a pretty thing on the ground." And I was like, "Yeah, pretty thing on the ground." And then I was like, it kind of remind me of my muse. And then when I was thinking of what to call the collection of poems, I just thought back to that and I was like, that kind of really sums up like what she is to me, a pretty thing in the middle of nowhere. So that's how I guess it's. That's just a
That's
gay
nice.
story, but
You know
yeah.
how they have this theme where they say there's a rose. It always used to be everywhere. A rose between the concrete cracks or something like that. I
Yeah,
can't
something
remember.
like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I immediately thought when I saw the poem title. Well, your poem title.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she reminds me of, like a flower just blooming in the darkness kind of thing. I also wanted to ask you, right? I call you Amina, but you publish under Ali. So I wanted to know if you're gonna keep publishing under Ali or if you're gonna transition to Amina.
I've always thought about it. I always wanted something out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think I had problems where people was like writing my pen name in a different way, but that's basically on how the literary world is. And then also there's my stylization. My stylization is the caps,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just for people to find me easier in a sense. But I'm like, you know what? It also has the autobiography, so they could always like read it and know, okay, her name is Amina Ali,
Mm-hmm.
and her pen name is Ali. Because even too, J.K. Rowling had she used to write under different pen names, even too with her name. So I think what I would really do is try to get more comfortable using Ali, which I think I am with this new rollout for this collection because only yesterday I received back a review from an ARC reader, and just completely surprised me. Like she did a whole edit and everything, and it was so nice. Even though it wasn't in the capital letters that I wanted it in, it
Yeah.
was just so nice. For some reason, she made my night.
See, I
Yeah.
think I just saw that actually. I think I saw the
Uh,
review.
oh,
I have to make my review soon. I have to top hers then. Because the
thank
edit
you.
was really good. The edit was
Hmm.
really good. So also
Yeah.
like how was writing this book like different from writing your first book, Lilac Honey?
Wow. I would say okay. Let me begin. I was I would say it's in between tough and easy because like I never wanted to put myself too much of myself out there. I don't know. Well, if anyone, well, anybody who listening or whatever, I started in the early with True Wattpad and then transitioned to Instagram. And with Instagram, I never used to show my face or anything like that. I didn't feel comfortable. When I published Lila Connie, I got the maybe I get a little more confidence in terms of showing myself more and stuff. And with through uh, halfway writing through this second collection, it allowed me to put myself more writing more personal pieces in that which I think people could um, relate to it in a sense that from the title it says through the purple window. So when I was looking at it like analyzing it and stuff, I was like, you know what? Everybody has a window. Everybody has a window that people look in and stuff. And I was like, you know, through the purple window is my own perspective, my own perception of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and the um outside window is the people who probably look at me, right? Because I don't know, there's a Taylor Swift song, I look in people windows,
Yeah.
but some people says an ex she's talking about, but when I listen to it, I'm like, okay, you're looking into somebody else's window, seeing what they doing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're writing about it, talking about it, maybe obsessing about it, whatever, you know.
See.
And as I would say, it's more like a more personal kind of touch. I would say even more, I would say is like a prequel to Lilac Honey. Because as I said before, in both of those books, I spent a majority of my time writing it in the bedroom. Um, but if I write lines outside or whatever, but to compile it and whatever, it's like a prequel to it, because I think with from the difference from Lilac Honey was the fact that I didn't include that much of um, personal stuff about me, just the basics like, okay, I'm from the Caribbean, I practice Islam, and climate change, we go through climate change, travel, and self esteem, and all of these different things, like basic surface level, like
Mm.
nothing too deep or anything, you know?
Yeah.
And I had these poems for so long. You know, when you're a writer, you have these poems for so long and you just want to put it out there, you know. Even though I feel like that with the second collection as well, so I can't wait for people to read it. And I think that's the two differences in terms of the themes between Lilac Honey and Through the Purple Window.
Mm. And when I hear through the purple window, I also think of, because when I think of like looking through somebody's window, I think of looking through their soul. So I see it as like your purple window is your soul and also your pen. So we using your writing to kind of give us a way into your soul. That's what I was thinking when I heard it actually.
Mhm. Good, good concept. Because I
Yeah.
remember they say the door is the door to the window of the soul. No, wait, window
It's
to
the
the
eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul.
That's so bad.
But I feel like with writers, the pen is the window to the soul.
Yeah. Well, and well, I guess the reader is the window.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So I want to ask you the same thing
hmm
in terms of um, how did you find material to put in your book? Because I mean, yes, you have a muse,
hmm
but in terms of what particular themes you talk about in your poetry book.
Okay, well, the reason why I even made the poetry book in the first place, and I actually say it in one of the early poems, is because I had a lot of things to say to my muse, but I'm a coward. So I would never say those things to her face. So I would just write them down, right? And then in writing them down, I had so many poems for and about her. I said, let me just make it into a collection of poetry books, right? A poetry book. And also, like you said, sometimes you have poems from before that you just want to get out. So I also had other poems of the similar theme of love and heartbreak and, crushing on somebody, but you also hate them at the same time. Like that, those similar themes, I had them from since 2021, 2022, way before I even met her. So I wanted to put those out as well. So I took them and I kind of just revived them a little bit to fit the whole concept of this book. But the majority of the poems, they really just came from her. Like they really just came from me having things to say and me
Yeah.
being too much of a bitch, essentially, to say them to her face.
The unsaid words are the words, well, is what the pen would help you to write out the
And
poems.
especially like the context of these poems, they're all about love and heartbreak. And I have a couple poems about me kind of struggling with my sexuality and things like that. And those were difficult conversations for me to have in real life. So
Yeah.
see that
I think
writing
it
them
depends too
down.
on the person who you would confide in talking about those things, because everybody have a different perception, a different opinion, whatever. Yeah.
And I feel like honestly, as you say that, I probably didn't really have anybody to talk to those things about. I mean, I have my friends, I love my friends, shout out to my friends, but there's only so much I would feel
Yeah.
comfortable exposing, you
Yes.
know? But I mean, that's an ironic statement because I'm gonna expose a lot in this book. So,
I feel for me, I feel like I thought I was like overdoing it with these love poems, because I'm like, why am I writing this? Do I have something to unleash? you
yeah.
know, because I find that's probably majority of it. That's majority of the most poems that I wrote in the three chapters that I have. I thought it was going to be the first chapter, so even though that I'm going to be in my revision for a few days, I'm going to see what I can do for to make a poem for us. Even though I did that for Lila Collins to see if I can make a poem for us. I just always do that.
So, like, let me ask you, what kind of things you explore in this poetry book that you didn't explore in Lilac Honey? Like newer things.
That's a really interesting question. Um, hmm, uh, to think about it, hmm, I would say maybe more like there were themes that I discussed in Lilac Honey that was probably surface level, but on this side, it deeper in terms of my relationship with God, dealing with grief, um, the aspect of family, and um, and then accepting to the fact that I may have had some self-loathing in myself, and I'm like, wow, you know, I was like, wow, I didn't realize it like this. So that's a kind of way that okay, that I realized this, and there's something that I need to come out of.
Hey. So you think it had like any poem in particular that was like the most difficult for you to write?
Yes. Oh my god. There was a poem that I wrote. I always wanted to write um in terms of I mean me seeing about the world, how I see the world, how it's different from Trinidad to the outside world.
Mhm.
And I was trying to get that poem that I was trying to write that poem for Lilac Honey. And I ended up writing something else. Somebody told me when they was reading the arc, they was like, you know what, you could try different themes, different types of poetry, and maybe it will come out of you. So I said, okay. And I think I wrote down a few lines and whatever, and I ended up putting it together. It did take some time to compile together, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm always learning about the news, watching the news. I know all these different things, you know,
Mhm.
and that was something very hard because in terms, okay, you know, everybody have empathy in a different way. I always say, always believe that any and anything could be possible no matter what things that happen in life. And yeah, life is something, it could be youthful, serious, and sometimes you know you want to flake on life, but you know that is the overall summary of it. Yeah.
You could tell me the name of that poem so I could
um
notarize it. To read.
Dramatically, hear me, dramatically, democratically, demise, and another D. It's three D's.
Not that, right?
No, I think that was the one that I sent you in the chat. The
Oh,
thing I asked you if you like it. Democratically, demise, and something, some other word. Yeah.
okay. I'll look for
Yeah.
it.
The thing is, I never remember. Sometimes I'll be changing up the poem titles, even to when I have it in the arc or whatever.
That's fair. Because like I got my proofread copy and I changed so many poems from getting this like a couple weeks ago to now. I still change so many poems, and sometimes I have to stop myself. Like, stop changing
Yeah.
things.
Oh
Stop.
my god, yes. That is like when you keep on doing it, especially over editing too, it gets to the point where it's draining, and then it's like it leaves you frustrated, and you know, like you know what, you'd be like, you know what, no, you know, I
Yeah.
should like keep it like that. I think that happened to me with the first book too as well, but then yet again, I said, you know what, I'm learning.
I feel like it's like the like perfectionist in me because I'm not a perfectionist, but with my writing, I am. Like everything needs to be perfect. If I see one little thing, I'm like, no, I can write that differently.
I'm not
Change
ashamed
it.
to say I had errors in my book, and I went and re-upload the manuscript. You know, because I mean, you know, people, it is a product that people are buying, and they will complain about it because money spending. You know,
Hmm.
and there are other things that I learned to not to make. Um, when I was doing this body of work. Also, to the fact that with formatting, I had problems with formatting for my first book, and I think when I was helping clients with their book, I learned things about formatting too. So I was able to like utilize those tools to put it in my poetry book to help me as well. the good thing too about it too, that like I always tell people, when you're uploading your manuscript to watch the PDF when it going through the software, so you would have an idea of it. Even too, if you would you know buy the copy of your book too, sometimes things might be off because sometimes the printing is not the way how the printing is, the ink might like print on
Hmm.
it properly or whatever. Because I think with my hardback cover too, color was, it was a bit off. I find it was just like a little too pale. But you know what? I'm like, I wanted it pale anyway. So
Yeah. But I'm glad that Amazon lets you like have like proofread copies. Shout out to
yeah,
Amazon for that. Hashtag not
yeah,
the.
yes. I think the greatest thing too is to have the copies. It
Hmm.
helps you water because I mean, even though you'll be putting your books in different places and whatever, you still have to wait for that period for the books to get sold out, and you might be waiting for a whole period of time.
Yeah.
So I know that you did a novel before, Read Like Love, and obviously this poetry book is about love. Um, does it? I know you said you were inspired
Hmm.
by Kieran and I, but and you're always writing, but like I really want to truly know how, like, did you like had a specific time frame that you had where you just wanted to create this poetry book, you just wanted to be out there, or you know instead of having to write a story and you say that okay, that could wait.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I did not plan originally on even writing this book and publishing it because I am still like working on another novel, and that was my priority, like finishing that novel, editing it, publishing that. But like writing novels, it takes so much more time, I feel like, than writing poetry. Because the whole story thing involved, like I had to make sure that the story makes sense from the beginning to end. So it take a long time. But with the poetry book, when I decided last year, January. I did no, 2023 December, let's see. 2023 December, that I was gonna put everything into one book, one collection of poems. And then by January of last year, I more or less had it. I mean, of course, since then I've probably changed almost every single poem in the book, but I had a good body of work, right? And I was really surprised that I finished it so fast because I mean I was used to, like my novel took me like a year or two, and the poetry book took me like a couple of months to get everything together. So after I had everything, after I had the body of work, I say, well, let me just try to get this published as fast as possible. It still took me some time. I mean, it's a whole year later, but that was more like getting a editor, cover designer, like that was other stuff, that took me time, but I really just wanted to get it out as fast as possible. Also, too, because the book is inspired by like a specific person and a specific moment in my life, I wanted it to be away from me as fast as possible. Like, because I wrote this book really to heal from that. So then once
Hmm.
I was finished writing, I was healed. And I don't want to have to keep revisiting this over and over and over and over. Right. But of course I have to because now I have to promote the book. But
I feel that's how writers operate when they have to put out a body of work, because
hmm.
that means they closing out the chapter, whether because I mean, people experience different things, experience different feelings, no matter whatever.
Hmm.
And that's how I'd say, the artists in them cope, or, you know, just for entertainment purposes. But
Yeah.
I think I remember you had said your novel too. You had wrote that for the COVID and the COVID period.
Yeah, I wrote it like I
Was that-
started it 2020 for COVID.
I think that was a year.
Yeah, this took me about a year. I had to
Right.
like write the draft and then like
Right.
maybe like the next year or so to edit
I
it.
I always find that so amazing. I was like, oh my god.
Why even
Because
amazing?
I remember and you told me about it. Because a novel takes a good time
That's true.
to like to go through the different processes. Because even too, I had a novella. I was writing a novella, and
Hmm.
I'm stopping the novella. I was both writing the novella, and the poetry book at the same time. I end up putting more focus on the poetry book instead. But I mean, that's nothing. At least I finish it, right?
Hmm.
Um, so I want to know, was it was the poetry book and the novel two different experiences? I mean, even though considering the time frame, I mean,
Hmm.
the time frame is both a good amount of time or short time. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why it took me so quick to write the novel is
Mm-hmm.
because one thing I always do is I always write from my own personal experiences. So even though the novel, like even though that's fiction, it still was heavily inspired by my real life. And it was the same thing with the poetry book. I mean, it's all based on something that really happened. And I mean, in my future books, like I want to just make up stories off of absolutely nothing from my real life, but I feel like I'll always be inspired by my real life. And that's like a good way that I stop
Definitely.
myself from getting writer's block too. Like if I don't know what to do next, I just think, okay, well, if this was real life, what would I do next? That's how I just like write fast, I guess. Also, I'm unemployed, so being unemployed gives you time to write. Like when I was writing my first book, it was during COVID time and I was kind of not in school, unemployed. I had nothing else to do but write.
At least it kept you productive.
Exactly, exactly.
Um, but with writing, do you like outline things on paper or electronically? Like I write an app or something.
Yeah, I'm more of an electronic person. With my first book, I did have I had a whole entire notebook where I outlined everything. But eventually I kind of was away with that because it was hard for me to keep it or keep everything organized. I would write something and then I can't even remember which page I write that on. Because I am like a generally disorganized person, eh? So I need as much help in the organization department as possible. So like writing things, keeping everything online was just much easier for me too. But what about you? Like, are you a plotter or a pantser?
A what?
Pants. Is that the right word? Pantser? Like people who just write without plotting, without outlining, without planning. They just fly by the seat of their pants and write.
First time I hearing about those acronyms.
Really? Oh my God, I see it
Yes,
all the
but
time on
I'm both.
Instagram.
I am both.
See, me too, me too.
Because I would write and use my phone to write down the ideas or mostly write. I'm old school like that. Because I have paper. I'm going to show you. I have, this is like my little diary I keep. Wait,
Mm-hmm.
it's
It
blurry.
blurred.
But anyways, I'll show you. These are poem notes.
See,
It's blurry. Anyways.
uh, that's copyright.
Yeah. And wait, I was like, right. This currently here is like the. I know nobody has seen this, but
That's just blurred.
this is the pages for the book for the poetry book that I had to put them together. What going where, next to where,
Mm-hmm.
all titles. Yeah.
How long did it take you to write this whole book, by the way?
As I was saying that I wrote it, I was starting to write it within last year,
Mm-hmm.
and well, till now I'll probably say like a year. I don't know. Yeah. Even though it is from my debut novel, was my debut novel. My debut collection was in 2002. And when people will be like, oh, you just have one book. But I mean, things take time. And then sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you have certain things in life that, other things that you is considered to be a priority.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. See, but you think you would ever write a novel though?
Yes. Oh my God. I want to. I had actually have a planned out. Planning out a novel. Um, the only reason I was planning out, even to before writing the poetry book, I was planning out novels. But I was like, you know what? I cannot. It's too long for me. I cannot hit the mark for the pages. So I said, you know what? Let me try a novella first,
Mm-hmm.
and then we shall see. Because even to with that novella, I'm like, oh my god, it's like 48 pages within, and I have to stretch it to make it longer because like uh they say a novella is between 100 to 200 pages. I was, well, so I had to replot over that novella, you know.
Okay, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you was if your book, Through the Purple Window, had a soundtrack, what songs would be on it? Obviously, I feel like Taylor Swift, I Look in People's Windows might be on it. But what other songs?
You say five, right?
Yeah, like five songs.
There is okay. There are songs that I put on my Instagram that when I do snippets or
Mm-hmm.
sneak peeks of the book, I'll include those songs. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say the second one will be 30 Purple Birds by Wymona,
Mm-hmm.
Past Life by Selena Gomez and Trevor Daniel. Um, the fourth one, the fourth one will be a French song. It's called Gleam by Nelusi. The fifth one, The Sun Comes Up, The Seasons Would Change by Nina Nesbitt. Remember posting that up today.
PT. You have to
Yeah.
do like a Spotify playlist or something to
If I
put
have a
all,
Spotify
yeah, with
playlist,
all these songs.
no, but I did that for Laila Connie.
Mm.
Yeah, what about you?
Um, five songs.
Yeah.
Yellow by Coldplay.
Yes.
I think is by I hope it's by Coldplay. Uh, Dandelions by Ruth B. Um, We Can't Be Friends by Ariana Grande.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh,
But
you know what Taylor Swift song is in this playlist? Now That We Don't Talk.
that's
That
what I said we don't talk anymore. You
yeah,
see?
Now That We Don't Talk. That one would be in it. And River of Tears by Alessia Cara. That would be my five. But I am gonna like release a playlist, a Spotify playlist for this book though. Because I just love
Yeah.
to make Spotify playlists for books. Like,
When I like make these songs, like take a piece when I get the book, take a
mhm.
picture of the pages and put the song to
Oh
the
my
music
God. I literally was going to do something like that
on the
too.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like when people read any book, they know the vibe. They know the vibe that,
Yeah.
like to have.
But some people might even like, they might even think that, the song is
Exactly.
for that piece. I guess it opens to interpretation too, because everybody have musical knowledge. Well, different
Hmm.
artists listen to that they might pinpoint. The song
Okay.
could be beautiful.
So also, in 5 years from now, where do you see yourself as a writer?
I hope at least I have a few books out, and that includes um novella novels,
Mm-hmm.
because I kind of want to branch out to all from the poetry because I think I had actually settled that I wanted to do a poetry with just love and heartbreak, but then it's like, you know, sometimes you need to be in that emotion
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
do
I hear
certain
you.
things. Even though I was like, oh, it's so easy to write about these things, but sometimes you need to like, it's like you need to get the be in the mood first, I
Yeah, I feel
guess.
like you need to really be in that feeling so that what you're writing is more like
Yeah.
authentic.
So it won't be cheesy or
Yeah.
cliche, you know. And that's it. I really wanted to release a Lila Connie Volume 2,
Mm.
but that won't happen now.
And if you
Also,
get
too, I hope that like I'll be able to be published, at least get picked up by, an
a
agent for my
publishing
novels or
company,
whatever. I don't
mm.
know. We shall see.
See. So like if you could give any
And
advice,
grow my readership too. Grow my readership. That's one
okay,
thing, you know. So
if you
yeah.
could give any advice to anybody who like now starts in off poetry, what would it be?
Well, I would just say to write, like, because I did free writing, and some
Mhm.
of it wasn't as good as it wasn't too hot, but I learned. And once I think when you read other people's work too, then you would catch on. Okay, you learn different devices and stuff. And there's also like free courses online,
Mm-hmm.
especially YouTube. You know, I used to watch those TED talks and stuff. I think there was a TED talk by the author from the Purple Hibiscus where she says danger of a single story, and in danger of the single story, she talks about you know reading American or European centric novels, and all these novels would have white characters.
Mm-hmm.
She say to write characters that
Like
that
represent your
that
real
resemble
life.
you,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's what I learned for myself to write my things about myself and my identity. The fact that I'm from the Caribbean, I I do I have Caribbean traits and perks, and within that, it has societal issues, um, and social stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
know, within that. So there's a lot I could talk about that, and it may be universal to some people and whatever, and people could relate. And I think that was the easiest way because I realized too that I was writing a specific niche when it comes to characters. I was writing like the blonde and the blue eye, thinking this is what I have to do in order to get in. But no,
Mm-hmm.
even though, I mean, in the traditional route, some of them would still be like, that is what is accepted. But the world isn't like that, The
Exactly.
world is diverse. So, yeah. What about you?
Um, well, I first things first, I agree with you with the writing characters that represent you. I feel like that was always something that I was always conscious of. And I even said to myself, like I made a promise to myself in every novel I write, I want the main character to be of African or African and Indian descent. I wanted all my books to be based in the Caribbean, if not in Trinidad. I want all my books to have like a main character that is a part of the queer community. Like I made those promises to myself because I want all of my novels to represent, who I am, right? So that's one piece of advice I would give to anybody who wants to start writing, if they want to start writing novels. Stay true to who you are. Don't write based off what you think other people might want to see, might want to read, because it have an audience for everything. And it already have the books with the white girls with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. That already have its audience. Those books already exist. Where are the books for Caribbean people, West Indian people? Write those books. And for people who want to start writing like poetry, just just write. Yeah, I agree with you when you said just write. And I would say read a lot because reading really does help
Yeah.
you like learn new words and
Especially in terms
expand
of
your vocabulary.
knowledge and
Exactly.
whatever, whether fiction or non-fiction.
And right now I'm actually doing like a poetry course in UE, and that's not even my degree. That have nothing to do with my degree. But I say let me do a poetry course, and I feel like it honestly helping me become a better writer already. So yeah, if you could find any like little course to do, any free course, even if it's online, do it. Any type of thing where you interact with other writers, take advantage of those things because it will help you for sure. That would be my piece of advice. And like
Most
where I
definitely.
see myself in 5 years as a writer, like I just hope I publish more books, honestly. If you wanna spend like a year or two just off the face of the earth
Yeah,
with my
sometimes it
phone,
does feel like that.
just to write and see what I could do without all those other distractions. But I can't do that because unfortunately I was not born into a rich family, so I have to, you know, get a
We're all
job
hoping
and
for
all
that
that
life,
stuff.
eh?
Yeah. Oh well. Okay, then I guess that's the end of our conversation. So thank you all for listening, Poets in Conversation, and stay tuned because we will have another video coming soon. So thank you all for watching, for listening. Be sure to keep up with us on social media and show your support. You can keep up with me on Instagram at Girl with the Purple Pen, for some exciting content leading up to the release of my poetry book, A Pretty Thing in the Middle of Nowhere. And thank you, Amina, for having this conversation with me.
Okay, everyone, thank you again for listening to this interview between Tamara and I. Don't forget to check out Through the Purple Window when it releases. I don't have a specific date as yet, but you could connect with my social media channels to stay in touch with updates, as well as the full length release of my new collection. So, see you guys soon. Bye. Take care. You can do it.
This?
I was thinking I could do it because I don't have hands.
Well, we gotta talk about you. What are these backgrounds?
You could just you could just press blur. You're looking like you're in the jungle.
Why am I in the jungle?
You know, like it's
Clips post on Instagram, you know, how people post those clips and then like, oh, go see it video, like purple pens out. Okay, that was cut on that.